am a pretty self-confident person. I feel like when I get in a situation or like an argument, I am very secure in how I feel and like my stance. But sometimes I'll tell you like what happened and you're like, maybe you could have handled that better.
Regardless of if it's her or somebody else, we've all been in situations where we go a little bit too far.
Luckily for us, there is a section of the internet made specifically for that. Reddit, am I the is the like one of the top searches, I feel like, and I love to just go through it. So we are going to once again go through the trans girlfriend, transgender tag under Reddit, am I the
Are we gonna get canceled?
Maybe. The amount of stuff that I edit out. Before we dive in, I have a word from our wonderful sponsor over at Catch Beauty. I have something super exciting to share with you. As a transgender woman, I used to struggle with so much unwanted body hair. Over the 10+ years of my transition, I have tried just about every single expensive and painful way to remove unwanted hair, and I figured there must be a better way. That is when I discovered Catch Beauty. This right here has been a complete game changer for me. I've been using Catch Beauty for a while now, and I cannot believe the results that I'm seeing. I mean, look at these before and after photos. Whoa. The best part is I get to do it from the comfort of my own home. No more awkward salon visits, no more painful treatments, just smooth skin on my terms. And girl, guess what? Catch Beauty now has this fantastic hair removal cream and growth inhibitor spray. The cream is so gentle, leaving my skin soft and hair-free. And babe, the growth inhibitor spray, obsessed. I have noticed a big difference between the time that it takes for my hair to grow back. Catch Beauty is a transgender dedicated brand, and I had to share with all of you because it has made such a difference in my life. So if you're like me and you are tired of the endless cycle of hair removal, go to catchbeauty.com/discount/rose and use the code ROSE at checkout for money off your order. Thank you so much to Catch Beauty for sponsoring this portion of today's video, and without further ado, let's talk about transgender. Am I the asshole? Okay, am I the asshole for inviting my trans girlfriend over to the house? Hi, so I'm a straight guy, I'm 17, and I have a trans girlfriend. Let's call her Gabriella, specific name, MTF17. Now, me and Gabriella have been together for about 6 months now, and me and her have a connection I have not had with anyone else. Okay. She's been out for 2 years now, and her parents have supported her this entire time, and where we live is a safe enough city and a safe enough school where she can live as a girl without much issues to be had. Okay. However, my parents, male 45 and female 41, are not the type of people to support her.
Oh no.
My dad's a former minister, while my mom is a former missionary who's pretty active in the local church. I'm not religious myself and respect their beliefs. Religion is just not my thing, period.
Okay.
Anyways, I told them about Gabriella and her being trans when I first told them I was seeing someone. They were really mad about it and told me I was being unfaithful or something and that I was gay because I was, quote, dating a man, unquote. It made me feel really hurt, and I asked them why they don't just support me dating her and at least be happy I have been seeing someone. I am not the most sociable person, and aside from Gabriella, I do not really have many friends. After a few months of us dating and visiting her parents, who were great by the way, that's wonderful, I decided it was time to ask Gabriella to come to our house for dinner. She was nervous but agreed under the condition that I would make sure she does not get berated by my parents.
Oh, this is gonna be bad.
So, a few nights ago, I invited her over. I must admit, I only told my parents about it an hour before her showing up, and they were pretty steamed about it, but we decided to let her come over anyway.
You didn't prep them for it? Oh no.
Sometimes the black sheep of the family, like growing up as a 17-year-old, I can see how I would be like, they don't want her to come over, so she's already on her way.
So
like,
wait, yeah, she's already here.
Coming, you know what
they
I mean?
Can't stop it now. Yeah. They can't say no.
So she comes over, my parents say nothing. She tries to start a conversation with them, but they seem to refuse her even being there. Finally, my mom pops in with this.
This is gonna be really bad.
My mom pops in with this. So, you're just a dirty tranny and God does not approve of what you're doing to your body, right? Not a dirty tranny.
Dirty tranny.
So you know you're just a dirty tranny, right? That pissed her and me off.
Well, yeah.
I ended up saying to my mom, can you shut up for 1 second and not talk shit to my girlfriend? Both Gabriella and my mom ended up crying, and I had to drive Gabriella home. Now my parents are mad at me and telling me I was unjustified to invite her over and should break up with her. Gabriella has not talked to me in a few days and I'm worried. What should I do? Am I the asshole here?
This is a hard gray area. This is a really hard gray area because you're proud of your girlfriend. You want to show her to your family. You want to have her meet the family. Like, that's all good stuff. Like, it's all really good stuff there. Why put her in such a position that 1 hour before she's coming, you tell your parent, you're really asking for it to be a disaster of a situation. Well, you think that was going to go well? I get that you're 17 and, you know, you might not be thinking this whole thing through. That was bold.
That's very bold.
That was bold.
100%. I feel like he handled it because he's 17, not the best he could have. Like, I think he kind of, like, going like, Mom, can you shut up and stop talking shit to my girlfriend? Like, he could have just been, honestly, the smartest thing to do would have been to just get up, take her out, and be like, we're going, we're leaving.
Yeah, like, I'm not going to subject her to this and then get the heck out of there.
100%.
Yeah, but
he's 17, so I get why he would have reacted that way. I'm going to say that he's the asshole, though. I get that he was just trying to, like, introduce them, but you're putting your desire to get your parents' approval, really, above her feelings of safety. And that sucks.
Yeah, but what did you expect was going to happen? I mean, did you feel selfish for you to go, what do you think it was going to magically, they were going to change their opinion and be super welcoming to her?
Yeah.
No, they're going to berate her.
I've been on the other side of that. Like, I've been the girlfriend where the parents really don't like trans people, and, like, maybe they meet me and they're like, yeah, like, she's okay. Deep down, like, guess what? You're a dirty tranny. Like, no matter what. Like, you can't, you're just not gonna, you know, so... Yeah, that sucks. You're the asshole.
Yeah. Am I the asshole for excluding one of my girlfriends from girls' night after he came out as transgender? First off, it's not my intent to misgender, but this is new to me, so excuse me. Okay. One of my friends recently came out as trans and said she always felt like a guy trapped inside of a woman's body. Okay, so... F to M. If she started transitioning and wearing male clothing and wants us to start referring to her using male pronouns instead of female, which you're doing a terrible job at.
Yeah, the fact that she's like, sorry, I'm not good at pronouns, but then she literally is typing it and can go fix it.
Can you run that through ChatGPT real quick?
Run that back really quick?
Fix these pronouns. I have no problem with him being transgender. Oh, we're moving. We're moving to the he, him. All right.
That's confusing.
It is. However, my other girlfriends and I don't feel comfortable including him in our nights out once he's done transitioning. We don't feel it's appropriate anymore because it's, well, girls' night out. I mentioned this to my BF and he says it's transphobic to exclude him, but we don't feel comfortable with him anymore, and I think our feelings overtake his. Plus, in my defense, if excluding him is transphobic, girls' night outs are sexist because they exclude men. I don't think we're doing anything wrong because my safety... This person changed overnight?
Yeah, no, that kind of switched it up.
That makes me think that you're scared of them now that you know that they are trans.
Yeah.
I don't think we're doing anything wrong because my safety overtakes his feelings. All right, listen, we could have potentially had a not an asshole situation.
Yes, for real.
But that last sentence, my safety?
Yeah, no.
Is your friend a different person now? It makes me think that because now you know they're transgender, you don't trust their, like, morality or judgment or ability to handle themselves around women.
Yeah. I understand the feeling of, you know, you were always in girls' night and you're like, well, I'm gonna miss that. Like, for example, you grew up in a house full of women and, you know, now there's another man in the family, you know, his sister's fiance, and
there's men's nights when there's women's nights now. I'm no longer a part of that.
Exactly.
It didn't feel great, but also at the same time, like...
But it's not personal, and for them, if anything, it should be gender affirming, that, you know, they're like, well, you're a man now, and, like, we love you, I still want to hang out with you.
But you're not a girl anymore, so don't come to girls' nights.
In the same way that I would feel kind of weird if it was, like, a boys' night, and I had, like, male friends, and then, like, I'm transitioning. Do you see how that would be bizarre if I'm starting to, like, be a girl, and then now there's like a girl at like game nights or like whatever, like that's
boys nights.
It starts to become, you know what I mean? So, but you're an asshole for sure. I'm just gonna put that right out there. My safety?
That's crazy.
You're concerned for your safety.
It shows that this person clearly thinks differently of trans people and thinks that something's wrong with them in some way, because for her to say my safety is in question now, you clearly totally changed your opinion about this person. That is a crazy thing to write.
I'm concerned for my safety is crazy.
That is wild. Get it together. Get it together.
Okay, am I the asshole for not supporting my daughter coming out as transgender?
Oh, this is gonna be a nightmare.
Hear me out, please. Hear me out, it's crazy. I am the father to my 25-year-old daughter named Ella. Ella partakes in a lot of attention-seeking behavior and always feels the need to be in the spotlight. She also frequently goes through brief and extreme phases. For example, she came out to us as a lesbian a couple of years ago and we supported her, and a couple months later she said she had, quote, had a change of heart, unquote, and got a boyfriend. She told us she was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder and it became a central facet of her identity. Then later she admitted that she was never diagnosed but had read about it online and thought some things applied to her. A final example is that she decided to, quote, reject the material world and become a Buddhist, unquote, which again lasted for maybe a month. It's a very worrying trend that keeps on happening, and I decided to no longer enable these behaviors. I get that maybe she's trying to find herself, but it is to a very extreme degree, and it pushes away those who care about her because it is always something new with her. And we can't understand what she's going through. It seems apparent to me that she needs mental health counseling, but whenever I try to talk to her about this, she shuts me down, and I am unsure whether she's receiving any treatment or therapy. A few days ago, Ella tells my wife and I that she is transgender and is transitioning to become a man. She's never expressed any desire to do this before, and I am concerned it is another phase. However, it is a phase that will be harder to reverse. She is now starting testosterone and is planning to have a breast removal, not sure what it's called, just top surgery or mastectomy, and full sex change. She told us we should come to her transitioning party. I told her absolutely not because I cannot support such a rash decision, and that she had to think long and hard about if this is actually what she wants to do. She claims she's been planning this for months and is just telling us now, but she's thought long and hard about it. I am still refusing to enable this behavior in light of her past and will not attend this party. To note, if I truly believed that she was transgender, I would support her. Am I the asshole?
No, that's a hard one. I don't think the idea behind all of it makes them an asshole. I just think it could have definitely been done a little bit better, but I recognize that if they've claimed that they're part of the LGBTQ community in the past and then switched and now it's this and it's all of a sudden, like, I get it, it's a big change.
Yeah.
You don't want them to regret it
100%.
After they're done with it. It changes your body.
Yeah. That was on a ledge. Like, it started out crazy with the title, but no, I mean, I would also, if it was like this rash, now granted, like, you can't really go and just get hormones, like, from wherever, unless you're doing it illegally, which don't do that. So I would have to assume that she's been in therapy and to a doctor, but I don't know where you live. I don't know the providers in your area, you know what I mean? So who knows, but...
Well, also, they've lied about being borderline personality and getting diagnosed, so they might be lying about being on T as well. Because they've mentioned that they've seen a doctor in the past and it hasn't been real.
True. When you start testosterone, there are irreversible changes that happen immediately, and that is your voice. Like, the number one thing that starts changing on T, besides, like, everything else,
vocal cords, like right away.
Yeah, it stretches it so your voice gets deeper. That's why they're like, 1 week on T, 4 months on T, 1 year on T, you know what I mean? So, that can be really tough to ever come back from. So no, you're actually not the asshole. I think you're a good dad, and especially ending it with, like, if she was actually trans, I would support her, but, like, this is, like, not a good move.
Yeah, it's a weird situation where he wants to be supportive of them, but has a hard time making the leap with them because it's been something else all the time. So I get it. I don't think you're an asshole, and I actually think it's good for you to say, listen, I don't fully support this. Might be some little bit of a hard relationship for a bit, but if everyone just says, totally, this is amazing, they might just jump into it without really fully thinking about it.
Correct.
And if they said they've been planning it for a few months, like, when Victoria transitioned or decided to transition, it was like, my entire life I have known 100% that this is what's going on. I finally just learned what it is. Like, what the name of it is and what I can do about it. Like, it would be a little bit more than, like, I've been thinking about this and planning this for a month. It's like, well, have you been thinking about this for your whole life? Has it always been a question? Like, there needs to be, like, a little bit more
any,
investigation.
Questioning of gender identity at that level, or, like,
not feeling like the other girls, or not right. Like, there's got to be something there from her past. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. This one is going to be messy. Ooh. Am I the asshole for telling my friend that it's harder to be transgender than it is to be gay? We're getting into a spitting contest here.
Are you the asshole for telling the truth?
I, male 25, am a transgender man and have been out for 10 years. I've known my friend, A, male 26, for 14 plus years, and he came out as gay a year or so after I came out as trans, so like 9 years publicly gay. When I came out, I had absolutely no support at home, and my entire family practically ignored my coming out. However, when A came out to his family, he was met with a more loving atmosphere than me. A and I recently had a small argument over a game. I wasn't mad and was in fact laughing at the altercation until A said that I had always resented him for having a better relationship with his parents than I do with my whole family. Oh, this is a mess. Oh God, I was in absolute shock as I thought A was one of my most supportive people in my life, besides my husband, right? Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I snapped and bust out with, being trans is harder than being gay. I've had to spend thousands of my own money to be who I am today, and all you had to do was wave a pride flag and find a guy to sleep with you. Oh, get red to filth. A. Oh no.
Also, I would like to point out that this transgender man just said his husband. So you're in a gay relationship, so you experience being openly, like, publicly, like,
and
gay.
Trans.
Yeah, no, continue, based.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I mean that. Also, this person knows what it's like to be gay.
I love
so they
eating
also
up the
know
Twinks.
what. Jesus.
Eat up the Twinks.
Okay, A's boyfriend, Jay, male 25, heard the argument from his office and told me to get the hell out of their house. When I got home, I told my husband, B, there's a lot of letters, male 26, so they're all 25 and 26, about the altercation, and he agrees with me that him and A were there for me throughout my whole transition. I was then harassed for a few days over Facebook by A, Jay and their friends, saying that my outburst was completely uncalled for and unnecessary. Most of the friends I've told about this all agree with me, saying that what A said was out of order and downright disrespectful. Yeah,
Yes.
it was. Why are you calling it, like,
Agreed.
why'd you start that conversation? What's you getting out of that?
Yeah, I do feel like we're missing some context here. But
Yeah, I'm starting to have second thoughts about what I said, and I'm thinking about apologizing to A and J, but I'm unsure. Am I the asshole? Go ahead, you go.
I think,
You
yeah,
got this.
I think we're missing some context.
This guy, A,
Going
jumped a little
into
bit
the
too
family
far.
is kind of nuts. That's like just going right for the jugular. So I think, yeah, I mean, I think that's totally based, what you said. I'm completely on your side, to be honest. Maybe you were a little overreactive, or, you know, maybe you were yelling or something and it was more aggressive, but what you actually said is totally based. So
Yeah, and it seems to me like this altercation caused your friend to dig up some weird problem that they had with you that they
Yeah.
never shared, and it bubbled
that's
up.
telling.
That is
You
telling.
learn a lot about someone in like an argument. You know, what
Yeah, so
they
where
go
do
for.
where do they go for? Do they go for the throat? And I mean, here's the thing. You've always resented me for having a better relationship with my parent. What?
Bad luck. Bad luck.
I mean, that just looks, that's so dramatic. Like,
Yeah.
why
You've
would you
always
even
resented how much money my family has.
You've always resented that I'm loved and you're hated.
Yeah, that is honestly
What?
crazy.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, but I gotta say, what this person said to A, it was based.
Based.
I mean, it's
So
not.
I'm gonna disagree with the general public because they said asshole. I'm gonna say not the asshole. I think that was correct. You stated a fact. Are we hating on facts? Can I not speak my mind?
Comparing coming out as trans and coming out as gay, very different.
Yeah, I mean,
It's an extremely
especially
different.
telling your parents, because it's one thing to be like, my child isn't going to have the like family building life that I expected. Like maybe they'll still have grandkids or whatever. It's like, you know, my kid's gonna marry another man or another woman.
Yeah.
Versus my daughter
is no longer my daughter.
Right. You
Yeah.
have to essentially, and I've talked to my mother about this as a trans person myself, like you have to grieve that child that you had in your head and, you know, come to love and accept your child, your true child, you know what I mean? But it's a much harder process because that's like, hey, I'm gonna change my entire body and my entire life and you have to refer to me differently, and like that's a whole
The
different...
surgeries alone make it harder.
Yeah, no, paying for things, period. Let's talk about it.
But
Oh my God.
socially, you have to go from one gender to another, especially if you're like in high school or in a public place where people have known you for a while, a small town. It is so hard to do that because everyone is watching you go through the hard, challenging early
Yeah.
parts and figure it out. And so people are making fun of you. They're like, oh,
Honestly,
you're no longer.
I feel like
it's a mess.
I actually, looking back, I have two things. One, I spent so much fucking money on my transition. Looking back, I'm like, oh my God, so did my family because I was a minor and you know what I mean? But like, even I have spent thousands and thousands of my own dollars anyway. And two, I'm kind of thankful that I transitioned in high school because everybody has their awkward times in middle and high school and stuff like that. And I just happened to be trans and was going through it then. But if I was an adult, like in the workplace,
yeah. It'd be really hard.
I have no clue how I would do that. If I was in a long-term relationship, if I was living with somebody, if I, like, you know what I mean? There's so many factors that go into that. I feel like it's a lot more difficult, and I give props to people who transition in adulthood, which, I mean, is most people, obviously. Not the asshole.
I don't think so.
Okay, we're each gonna do one more. So, am I the asshole for not being comfortable with a transgender girl staying in my daughter's room? My daughter has a friend who is trans. They're 12, and while I doubt neither of them are sexually active yet, I don't know because kids seem to be starting pretty young these days. My daughter asked me if she could stay over. I said she can, but I'm not comfortable with them sleeping in the same room. My daughter said, why? And I said, well, your friend has male anatomy and you have female anatomy, and if you were to end up doing something together, you could end up pregnant. My daughter was like, that's gross. We're not gonna have sex. Yeah, because they're 12, and also two, like, girlfriends, like, you know what I mean? And I do believe her that she probably doesn't want to, but I don't know, and I don't know if I should risk it. I told her I'd think about it, and if not, they can sleep in separate rooms. She said, well, there's no point if we sleep in separate rooms. Am I the asshole for being uncomfortable with this? You're the asshole, dude. Like, you're the asshole. First of all, your daughter's right, sleeping in separate rooms. What's the fucking point? I get where they're coming from, because sure, sometimes two girlfriends, two, like, assigned female at birth friends will, like, fool around a little bit, like, you know what I mean, in at a sleepover. So sometimes that does happen, but, like, what you're saying is because this girl has a penis, she is a threat to, like, she's a threat sexually to my daughter. To me, it's giving very, like, I don't want a boy in her room because you're seeing this child as a boy.
Yeah, I really don't even know if it's worth me weighing in here, because at this point, like, it's clear that she's worried about her getting pregnant.
It's the dad. Actually, I don't even know.
I'm pretty sure that's a mom.
It seems like it's a dad.
Oh, so there's no context.
They don't say.
Here,
actually, comment down below if you thought that was a mom or a dad.
Let them have a sleepover, and they're 12.
Anyway, you're the asshole.
Am I the asshole for telling my transgender coworker she doesn't really pass when she asked for honesty? Oh no, this is gonna be a messy one. This happened recently. We hired this transgender girl about a month ago. I am her direct manager, so we interact quite a bit. We had some more casual conversations the other week. She asked me if she was passing. I said a simple yes, but that wasn't enough for her, unfortunately. So she insisted for a more detailed and honest answer. She said, be honest. I said, well, if you want honesty, then I would say you are not passing at this point. She was visibly upset and started asking, oh my God, asking for more explanation, and I told her that this wasn't a suitable conversation for our fairly new and basic relation. This was a turning point.
Correct.
As she raised her voice and demanded me to tell her how unpassing she, oh my God, how unpassing she was. So I told her, I figured you were trans the moment you set foot here, and even before that from your social media that you shared with us. Well, then again, transgender girls do be having crazy social media. You be putting the cat ears on and the whole deal. I mean, come on, am I wrong? She tried to continue talking about this, but I told her, stop having this kind of convo with someone who's supposed to be your manager and go back to work, please. Which, yeah,
period.
Not her place. Why is she doing this? She just got up and left. It's been about 4 days and she hasn't shown to work. She hasn't shown to work, then
fire. Like,
well, it could be a lawsuit. Well, first of all, you need to contact a lawyer. And you need to figure out how to handle the situation. It is completely inappropriate for them to not be showing up to work when they were like trying to grab that out of you.
Okay.
What is she doing?
I always say, don't ask questions you don't want the answers to. Don't ask that. First of all, don't ask anyone that, except for your best friend or like your sister.
Someone who's really close to you.
Not your manager, not even your coworker, your manager. She said yes. You were fishing for more compliments. Sometimes it comes up as a rubber chicken.
So there's two problems here. One, as an employee, asking that question to start, unless you are totally willing to get the answer, you look like a man, don't ask that question. Because if you're asking them in a professional context to ask, do I pass as a woman in this office? And you want them to answer honestly, as a manager, they're gonna have to answer you honestly. But here's the thing, the manager shouldn't have touched that with a 10-foot pole. Clearly a new manager.
That's true.
Because what should have been done is you say, you know, this is not the sort of thing that I'd be comfortable having a conversation about. Or, even if you want to not immediately dismiss it, you could say, Why do you ask something like that? Or like, are you uncomfortable? Are people treating you weird at work? Like, try and figure out if it's a situation about uncomfortability. For sure. Well, the thing is that if they're coming to you about this, are they uncomfortable? If not, it's none of their business to be talking to you about this. Talk to your coworker friend. Talk to someone at your level. Don't go to your manager and say, hey, you know, while we're doing this performance review, do I look like a What? What the fuck is that shit? As a manager, you'd be completely fucking blindsided by that. That is outrageous.
Yeah, no, don't ask questions you don't want to hear the answer to. I mean, she said yes, you were digging, and
you should have stopped there.
You should have stopped there. You shouldn't have started in the first place. Yeah, no, that was a fantastic response, because that's exactly what she should have done. I wouldn't have thought to do that. This is lawsuit city.
This, first of all, you shouldn't have touched it with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
The reason I would have asked, are you uncomfortable with what other people are saying at work? Because what I'm trying to figure out is there a DE&I issue in my team?
Yeah.
And if there is, then I need to handle it. If not, avoid that conversation. Yeah. If your employee asks you, do I seem gay to you? No! But you see the point? Like, no! You do not comment on that!
You can't say yes or no.
Don't! Just say, this is an inappropriate conversation for me to have. You are asking to get
out of
sued
context,
to death.
Out of context, you can say, my manager told me that I passed as a woman, or my manager told me that I didn't look gay, told me that, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many things.
That feels weird. Already, I would if I heard you say that. Like, my manager, if you came back from me and somebody told me, oh, my manager said that I passed really well, I'd be like, so he's hitting on you. Right? No, but that's the thing. That's true. It's a completely inappropriate conversation to have. Yeah. If she asked, listen,
the worker should not have brought it up.
And if she said, listen, I'm trying to pass more at work. I want to understand if you feel like this attire that I'm wearing, I'm trying to push into female territory. I don't want to seem inappropriate. True. Like, the employee approached it potentially as bad as possible. The manager shouldn't have touched it, but you're not an asshole, but you are going to get a serious coach that teaches you about HR principles and how to talk to managers. An HR appointed coach. You are getting training.
Well, that was a wild ride.
That's a wild ride.
We learned some things, like don't ask questions you don't want to know the answers to.
Let the 12-year-old trans girl sleep in your daughter's bed.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh, that's not.
Ooh, that's not. In the sense that...
That was super fun. Now, there's so many more that we can go through. I actually have some more screenshotted for next time, so stay tuned for that. There are so many other subreddits to explore, so if you want us to dive into any, like, relationship things or confessions or anything else, let us know down below. If you have one that you like that I don't know, which is pretty much all of them except for what I just said, comment that down below as well. You are all amazing. Thank you so much for joining us, and until we see you next week, good luck. I love you. Bye.
Oh, I didn't say hello. Hello.